Our next historic speaker is Doria Shafik, one of the principal leaders of the women's liberation movement in 20th century Egypt. In 1951, Shafik managed to secretly bring together 1,500 women from Egypt's two leading feminist groups and organized a march on and break into parliament to present the male parliamentarians with a series of demands related to women's socioeconomic rights. Her speech, "Let's go and demand our rights," did not lead to immediate improvements. However, as a direct result of her efforts, Egyptian women were granted the right to vote by the Egyptian Constitution 5 years later. Recreating excerpts from Doria Shafik's words of rally to the women of the march and her subsequent speech to the parliament is Jalene Rivera, a 10th grade student at the Paulo Freire Social Justice Charter School. Jalene enjoys reading a new book every week, listening to music, especially Korean pop, and, of course, boys. Her favorite group is EXO, with 12 boys in it. Her favorite color is green. She wants to go to college and study to be a crime scene investigator of forensic files. She also loves to dance and sing. If you stick around later this afternoon, you will also hear Jalene's grandmother, Annie Rodriguez, recreate several historic speeches. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Jalene Rivera reading as Doria Shafik.
Quais Amin Bey is a name which has been engraved in our hearts with gratitude eternally. Has he not been our guide in the darkness? I will try to be one of his disciples, whose example I will teach women to fend for themselves in spite of the necessities of material life. What miseries the depths of the harems have concealed for so long? What experience can one acquire if one has simply made a trip from one part of the house to the other? And in her torpor, the woman was not aware of her own captivity. Having always led the same life, she did not think she could liberate herself. I ask myself why certain men persist in isolating women. Do they believe that age-old traditions can be adapted to the current of modern life, or is it that they do not understand the absolute value of liberty? Perhaps we should lock them up for 1 or 2 years for them to get the idea of what they impose on women. Our meeting today is not a Congress, but a parliament, a true one, that of women. We are half the nation. We represent here the hope and despair of this most important half of the nation. Luckily, we are meeting at the same hour and in the same part of town as the parliament of the other half of the nation. They are assembled a few steps away from us. I propose we go there, strong in the knowledge of our rights, and tell the deputies and senators that their assemblies are illegal so long as our representatives are excluded. That the Egyptian parliament cannot be a true reflection of the entire nation until women are admitted. Let's go and give it to them straight. Let's go and demand our rights. Forward to the parliament. Excellency, we have forced open the door of parliament. I am calling you from your own office. Over 1,000 women are outside demanding their political rights based on your own interpretation of Article 3 of the Constitution, which states that all Egyptians have equal civil and political rights. You yourself have declared that Egyptian designates women as well as men. Nothing in the Constitution stands in the way. Only the electoral law discriminates against women. We are convinced you will not go against your own words. It was obvious to me that women representatives were essential in Parliament. They must not only be present when laws concerning them are legislated, but when they must be involved in writing the laws. It would not be the only answer to the problem of formulating laws that really did further the cause of women. It was not surprising that the only 2 bills presented in 1923 by Huda Shah al-Rawi, one for limiting polygamy and the other for curbing easy divorce, had long been forgotten, while all other laws concerning men were developing and improving according to their own growing needs. Women had to be represented in Parliament and justly protected. But why should men alone represent their nation? Women should have an equal say in the laws that ultimately affect them and their children.